quick example of how to begin making your double page spread. So this is Moodle. Again, some of this you may have done already. Obviously we're looking now for, this is the module we're working with, Introduction to Graphic Communication. We open that up, and contained within this briefs and session material folder, we've got all the resources we need for the type and grids brief, which is the one we're looking at. And what we're opening up is an IDML file. There's two IDML files in here. That's a form of InDesign file, but it's more flexible. So an IND file is an InDesign file that can be opened in the version of InDesign that it was created in. With an IDML file, it means you can save your InDesign file in a format that can be opened by other versions of InDesign. So I've saved these as IDML files so that whatever version of InDesign you're using, most people will be able to open them. So we've got two here. Template cover, that's the cover of the magazine, that's the document you use for that. Template spread, this is the document you use when you're making your double page spread. So you simply click on it and that will download, obviously, and then out of downloads you can then drag it to where you're going to be using it, double click on it, and that'll open up within InDesign, and that should open in a couple of seconds. I've already got InDesign open, and there it is. So this now is what you see when you double click on that file. So there's no need to go to File, New document, any of that. You don't need to make a new document. This is the document ready made for the double page spread for this brief. It's the right size, it's the right proportions, it's 2 pages. Here's the left hand page, here's the right hand page, so it's already set up as a double page spread. So that's that bit done for everybody. What you are doing now is bringing in your images and your text onto these pages and creating your spreads. You save this, that's one spread, you do it again with another spread, again with another spread, and then just once for the cover, and that gives you your 3 double page spreads and your cover that the brief asks for. So this is literally downloading this, clicking it, it opens up. What we're now going to look at, again just very briefly, I will be kind of putting more detailed videos about this on Moodle. The 2 boxes that you rely on in InDesign, again probably some of this you know already if you've been looking at LinkedIn Learning. Image boxes is this box with a rectangle in, and then you just click and hold and drag with the mouse, and this gives you any size. Again, you're in complete control how big you want this image box to be. For the sake of argument, what I'm going to do is move it to snap to the grids that are already here. So again, as you see, you've got all of these blue lines here. Don't get overawed by them. You haven't got to use every single line. That's how a grid works. You're given all options, all possible permutations. All you have to do is ensure your design meets some of the guidelines. So for instance, what I'm going to do here is an image that's half of 1 page. So as you can see, I've made it now fit between that guide and this guide. This purple line is the center of the magazine spread. So this is our left hand page, like I said. So I've pulled it out to the furthest 2 guides on that page, moving it up to the top, and now just moving it down to about there. That ensures now that this picture box that I've drawn with the blue key line is width of 1 page and half a page deep. Now I'm going to bring an image into that, and again there's more than one way of doing this, but the way that I use is File, down to Place. This then allows you to choose the image that you've already got saved. So on the desktop I've got saved a folder which I'm calling Tree Spread. That's the example I've been using, because it's just, rather than using a designer, I'm using something that's completely different. So trees, big tree, we open it up and it drops that picture within this image box, this picture box that we've made. As you can see, the picture is smaller than the image box that I've made, so I need to make this picture bigger. I don't want to make this picture box bigger, I just want to make the picture within the box bigger. And again, there's more than one way of doing this, but the easiest way is simply to look at these percentages here, and again what I'm going to do now is just make these 140% each, Sorry, first of all, I'm going to go on the white arrow to do this. This is the content arrow. Click on that, and you can see it frames itself to the picture. Now, make that 140% each, and you see it's made the picture bigger. Now we're back on the solid arrow. There's our picture box still, the blue key line. It's made the picture inside it bigger, and now if I click on the white arrow, the solid arrow, and click on that, you can see that we can now move the picture within that picture box, drop it there, and now the picture is big enough to fill the picture box that we've made. So now we have an image that's the full width of one page and half the page deep. That's how we do images. We make another picture box, you go to place, you choose the image, you drop it in, you size it up accordingly. Play around with these two arrows. Again, you're using LinkedIn Learning, that's great because it'll tell you what you can and can't do with these arrows. It will be frustrating at times. You will find that you're pulling part of a box and it's stretching when you don't want it to stretch, when you want it to go smaller, or it's going smaller when you don't want it to go smaller. This is all about experimenting with it and seeing how you can achieve the outcomes that you want. When it comes to type, it's a similar process, except we use the type box, which is in here, the T for type tool. We click on that, again, click and hold, and it draws a box. What I'm going to do here is make this box 2 columns wide. So again, when we're looking at this, each of these vertical stripes is a column, and there's 6 columns that run across this grid. So I'm pulling this to fit 2 of those. So again, if we just count them first, so that's 1 column. The thinner gaps, you see this thin gap here between these 2 grid lines, that's the gutter. So that's the space between the columns. So you can see that's 1 column, that's 2 columns, that's 3 columns, that's 4 columns, that's 5 columns, and if we go full width, that's covering 6 columns. You wouldn't have text running all the way, you wouldn't have body copy running all the way across that because it's harder to read. You might have a headline that runs the full length of the page, obviously, but when it comes to body copy, they should really work in more vertical columns. So again, I'm bringing it down just to this point here where it's 2 columns wide. And now what I can do, I can call up a website. I'm just going to do that now. So again, I'm just going to type trees into Google. Look at good old Wikipedia. Just highlight, again, I'm just going to highlight this first paragraph in Wikipedia. It'll let me. Copy that, Command C, and then when I get back to the InDesign document, make sure I'm on Type Tool, click within the type box, you'll see a flashing cursor, and then Command V pastes what we've just copied out of Wikipedia, and it fits that space nicely. Obviously then we can go on and we can change the font and the size and everything else, but again I'm going to discuss that more in other videos as well. But that is the basics of what you can do, and then obviously with these tools you can move these around. So might want the type there, it might be we want this image to be down here, and we want the type to be up here. So that's what I mean by it's flexible. Think of these as pieces of paper that you're moving around a desktop. Okay, so hopefully that's helped to explain it a little bit.